Happy Thursday. Mark Oppold, 15 minutes away from opening our grain and livestock trade, but we do have information for you that just coming out here. It's the weekly export sales report. Rich Nelson joining me from our friends at Allendale. Rich, let's take a look at those numbers before we open this trade and talk about weather.
You know, for the most part, these numbers here this morning were actually interesting to see. On the corn side, 678, in fact, a little over 678,000 tons. This was the best old crop sale for corn in about 6 weeks, so good to see as far as this goes. Soybean side, 1.9 million tons, big number there. Keep in mind, this is good for the old crop, best in 7 weeks for soybeans. And as far as new crop discussion, a large 1.5 million tons there. However, though, keep in mind, new crop sales still the smallest in 10 years. So still some problems on that side here.
Now, you said corn the best in how many weeks?
As far as the corn, best old crop sale in 6 weeks. So good to see you there.
6 weeks on old crop. And then the wheat number here coming in 669.5, 669,000. That was up over 50% here over the 4-week average.
Certainly right here. And as far as this goes, this is the brand new wheat marketing year as of June 1. So good to see some very strong sales starting off here.
Exactly right. Now we turn to others like grain sorghum coming in here just short of 123,000 metric tons. Cotton, 193,400 running bales, and rice, 114,000 metric tons. Anything that is worth noting in those three?
You know, as far as those three, got to speak out on these numbers. As far as the sorghum side, this pretty much was within general kind of trade expectations. Cotton, though, this is still kind of a low number for cotton, second lowest in the past 6 or 7 weeks. So low numbers there won't get the trade too excited as far as that goes.
Very good. So we go back and then we look at these numbers, but then kind of right back to these updated weather forecasts. We are in the last 2 weeks of July here. This is really their I guess the tough get going or the rubber meets the road. You can use any kind of cliche you want, but this is really where it all is going to happen or not.
Certainly true here. And as far as these numbers out of the weekly drought monitor report, did expand some concern over for Iowa. In fact, much of the area now seeing the second level of dryness called moderate drought. Also, NOAA, the government's weather agency, gave us the long-term forecast update today as well. For the month of August, above normal temps. Now, they say normal precip, but let's see if that happens and is seen as far as that goes next month.
Well, in fact, in some cases, normal can be little or no or very little rain in some areas, of course, in the plains and that northern belt. Talk about the corn trade here, $4. We heard of increased farmers selling here when we get right to $4 on a cash basis.
I think that's probably true, and we're probably going to see that again here in terms of this round of sales. I guess the one thing we can point out is on the cash side, a lot of people have suggested this is going to rein in this futures market rally that many people are expecting into August. But we'll see. You know, we have seen some good sales. A lot of farmers need some cash right now, so it is an active discussion point here. And
also, is there any area of the country that is needing some cash corn here, others than any other place that you're hearing of?
You know, as far as the areas of the eastern corn belt's always asking for a little more product here, but certainly for most of the west, not too much of a problem in the north or northwest areas there.
$4 for corn, $10 for soybeans. It seems like a psychological number here, and right around that as we start the day.
Certainly right here, and as far as the trade's hope right now, based on all this talk of now kind of moving yields below 166, 165-ish in terms of a lot of trade talk, a lot of people will be expecting those prices to probably have a little pop here, higher than those levels, maybe once you get into August here.
Very good, Rich. And we'll take a break, come back, and we'll check the livestock trade. We have export sales numbers, those for the ewe and the beef and pork trade as well, and we'll get Rich's comments. Rich Nelson from Allendale coming right back after this. 10 minutes away from opening our livestock trade. What a day yesterday, Rich Nelson. Let's talk about that before we get to the export sales. A turnaround Wednesday. It doesn't have the same ring as a turnaround Tuesday, but starting lower, we had the BSE story, but more psychological than anything else. What did you make of that closing strong in the cattle, feeder cattle, and hogs yesterday?
Definitely was a little surprised about it, especially considering we saw that Fed cattle exchange move numbers roughly even with last week's trade. So as far as that goes, not too much of a surprise here. Our big concern is going to be the cash cattle trades as far as today and tomorrow, what prices those will move at. So good to see the futures bounce. I can't say it's going to last too much, though, especially with lower beef still for the week and possibly a few more cattle waiting for us these next few weeks.
All right. We mentioned the beef and pork export sales numbers. Let's go there and talk about the numbers, the percentages, both down here from the 4-week average. Looking at the beef number, first of all, at a 12,400 and pork at 11,700. Talk about those numbers.
As far as the beef side, this was about 14% under last year, so maybe a slightly disappointing number as far as this goes. The pork side still kind of holding its ground. This is a low time of year for pork sales anyway, but 4% over last year. So beef numbers lower than last year, but pork higher than last year.
So you say we may not have much left in beef and pork futures trade as we start today?
I think for today we'll start out obviously a little better as far as the carryover strength here from yesterday's outside day, which closed higher on the charts. So positive development there. And as far as the pork numbers, maybe kind of a mixed bag here. Still seeing some stability and strength for wholesale pork, but cash hogs are almost $4 off their peak from about a few days ago.
All right. And the weights, though, continue lower, at least not, but they are lower than last week, Iowa, Minnesota hog weights. So these producers are keeping these hogs moving in a regular fashion.
That's exactly right. And, we're at the lowest time of the year anyway in terms of hog slaughter numbers. And on top of that, they have been running a little trimmer than what they would have implied from that June hogs and pigs report. So overall, still in tight supply environment for now on the pork side.
Very good. Rich, thanks as always getting us started here on the day. We look forward to keeping in touch.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Rich Nelson, Allendale, joining us, leading things off most days here. Let's take a look at the beef cutout and pork cutout, as he mentioned. Those important numbers here for the trade to consider here as well. Now, as far as, first of all, as the beef side of things, a mixed close here yesterday with the choice down 32 points, 32 cents here, 207.73. The select cuts were up 24 at 195.49. And then we look at the cash trade. It's still called a light cattle trade in the futures, or the cash and the carcass trade. Volume was light, not available any asking prices here. Packer bids around 115 to 117. They did move cattle, though, at 118 after that Fed cattle exchange moved cattle at 118. So we did have sales, by the way, at 118, 118 and a half, and the carcass trade 188 to 190 as far as the cattle trade is concerned, but it was considered light. All right, let's over in the hog trade here, our pork cutout. As far as the pork is concerned, arrows pointing in both directions, mostly a higher trade here. Overall, the carcass trade was up 70 cents, 104.69. So it's not letting go of those records that we saw back in 2014. We did see loins down about $1. Hams were up 50 cents. Bellies up over $3 on the day. And we look at the cash and carcass hog trade here on averages here. Just a quick look before we hand it back over to Janet. The average carcass trade start the day here 84.79, and the average cash price here 67.58. So Janet, as always, we start here in about 5 minutes and we'll be on top of it here.
All right. Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate that.